YouTubers, gamers, and moviegoers, what's going on, guys? I'm the Messiah. This is Messiah Entertainment, and today we are talking about the latest season of Runaways, coming from Hulu. This is the second season of Marvel's Runaways, based off the comic book, which happens to be my favorite of all time. If you remember my previous review, I had some issues with the first season. I thought there was potential to do some things. I thought they were misfiring in some places, but I felt like they had potential. Overall, I was a bit disappointed with how the season progressed and the pacing of the entire show. So, coming into this season, I saw some of the trailers. They looked a bit more action-packed. It looked like the team was going to be working together a bit more. So I was a bit optimistic. Now, did they deliver on that? Sort of. This season does feature some improvements. Straight off the bat, the show picks up and we're already on the run. So that's an advantage that we had over the first season. The first season was all that covert stuff they had to play in front of their parents. We also do have a lot more scenes building up the team working together. And that's when the show really does shine. When the team is working together, when the team's working through their problems together, when they're becoming a bit more of a solid unit. That's what I always liked about the Runaways. You know, they have their problems, they have their arguments, and that adds to the drama. But, you know, seeing the team come together, to really come into their powers together, to stand there as a family together, this sort of makeshift family, that's what I always liked about the Runaways. And they do capture a bit of that spirit here. Also, we do start getting a lot more action scenes, particularly with the kids fighting against the parents, and those scenes are actually really cool. The parents start to become a bit more of the antagonists as opposed to being essentially side players in the whole thing to Jonah and whatnot. They start taking a bit more of a leadership role in terms of the whole villain thing, and that's also very good to see. However, a lot of that stuff starts to happen really in the second half of the season. I've got to admit, the beginning of the show started off, it felt like the same old slow returning to formula sort of thing, the same contrived drama sort of thing, where it felt like the show and the relationships were moving at a snail's pace. The problem is we could have picked up the pace on a lot of stuff, and we could have added a lot more things, moved the plot a lot more rapidly, as opposed to, you know, taking 3 episodes to show Alex painting Darius's house. You know what I mean? Like, we could have expedited that and got that out the way real quick. We could have an episode and a half maybe of that whole conflict. We didn't have to dwell on it for 3 or 4 episodes. Also, the dialogue is still a bit weird in this show. It gets to a point where it's very formulaic, and you could basically tell how every argument or discussion, but really they all turn into arguments, is going to turn out between whether it's the kids or the parents. They're usually in a circle or facing each other in some way, and what happens is they do rapid fire comments back and forth. Bam, Alex, what do you think about this? Well, I don't know. I thought I said this. Nico, what did you think? And somewhere in between the rapid fire shots of conversation, someone always says something that ticks off the other person. It'll start off, Alex, well, thanks, Wilder, and then it devolves into a huge argument where everybody goes their separate ways. It happens every single time, and it gets so formulaic that you can call it before it happens, and it happens not only with the teenagers, but it happens with the parents. It's the same thing over and over and over and over and over again, and that's why it seems like the drama's artificial, because it seems like it's just purposely put into the script every 5 minutes just so we have something to make conflict for the characters, and that's not real conflict. It's just them arguing over the same things 10 different times. The characters are also super awkward. They mention things and bring up super awkward topics in front of, you know, people that are supposed to be going through relationship issues. They just bring them up in the middle of conversation. Like, who really does that in real life? I'll give them this though, the dialogue between some of the characters is starting to become better. Alex and Chase don't seem as antagonistic for no reason anymore. Carolina and Gert aren't arguing with each other for no reason anymore. The parents in this show are a mixed bag, whereas the first season definitely made them out to be way more sympathetic, especially compared to their comic book counterparts. This season seemed like it was on the fence. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to feel like the parents aren't evil, or if they are, but just not as evil as Jonah, because there's certain moments where I'm like, okay, it looks like the girl, you know, they're proud of the kid, or they really just want the kids back home. In the comic book, the motivation for them to be on the run made sense. The parents were just evil. They did this all of their own volition. They just wanted to wipe out the entire population of the earth. That's not the case in this show. They had to do the thing because they were coerced by Jonah. Everything else is just has nothing to do with anything. Yeah, sure, the parents aren't the best of people. They do evil things. They have killed people before. However, they don't have some evil harebrained scheme, so it doesn't really, the motivation for the kids to stay on the run like this isn't quite as strong. It makes me feel like almost they should be going home. The show is a bit light on action, admittedly, and even when the action does happen, it's not the best action in the world or even on television or of the Marvel television shows, but they do an okay job. Also, Hulu using their brains and listening to me. This time they did it like Netflix and released all 13 episodes at once. That's what I like to see. I couldn't take it. Every week I had to come back in. That was whack as hell. This is the way that I want to see them do it from now on. I don't want to see them go back to that old way. This is perfect. I loved it. Because now I could, whenever I had a free chance and whenever I had the moment to go and binge watch it, I could do so at my leisure. While the show does still have many issues, I do see that they are slightly improving as the show goes on. I hope to see a lot more of that improvement throughout the entirety of what they do if they do get a season 3. I think the biggest issue is that it's just taking too long for the story to progress. We're now on season 3 and we're still like where I guess volume 1 of the Runaways would have been. You know what I mean? We're still facing the parents. They're still doing the Jonah thing. I don't feel compelled with Jonah. Jonah seems a little bit of a, you know, I don't find him as menacing. I would like if they just stuck to the parents. But it seems like they really want to push that whole alien thing. We're introduced to characters like Zavin a little bit earlier than I expected them to. He's not a Skrull in this one. He's a Sartan, which is interesting because I thought they got the rights back to Skrulls, so I thought this would have been the first instance of a TV show one. But you know, it is what it is. It's nice to see a character like that appearing in the show. So I'm warming up to some of the casting choices. Some of them like Chase. I don't know if he's exactly Chase Stein from the comics, but I liked him. He's not bad. The one that I'm really kind of having trouble getting on board with, she's not bad, but it's just, I don't know what they're going for. Molly. It seems like they want her to have that youthful spunk that the comic books version has, but this one, I don't know if it's because they aged her up or whatever, but they play her so, like, low energy at times. You know what I mean? She'll try to say something that's like, haha, yeah, look, I'm the youthful one, but then it's so, you know, low energy. Haha, yeah, it's lit, uh-huh. Whereas every time you see Molly in the comic book, she explodes off the page. This one just seems so low-key, and it's trying to, you know, be kind of cool as a teenager, but, you know, I don't know, man. The most definite standout is Nico. Nico was the best one in this. She's the best one in the series. She has the most interesting backstory. Her parents are the most, especially her mother, is the most menacing one. She has some of the coolest action scenes in the entire show this season. She does some really cool stuff with the Staff of One, screaming out, and her eyes kind of become very cool nod to Doctor Strange. They do the Caecilius eyes with her. She has some of the coolest moments. She is 100% a standout amongst the entire show. While it's definitely not my favorite Marvel show, and in my opinion, not really living up to the example held by the comic books, which are my favorite of all time, I would say it is improving over time. I would be interested to see what they do with a season 3, but, you know, I would just really hope that you pick up the pace. But that's just my opinion. I'm sure you guys got your own. Let me know in the comment section down below, what did you guys think of Runaways Season 2? Did you love it? Did you hate it? As always, you guys can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and Twitch. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe. Guys, that's it for today. I'm the Messiah. This is Messiah Entertainment. I will see you guys next time. Peace.